Good day, my dear student. Welcome to my channel. In this video, we are going to learn how to predict hybridization, geometry, structure, and bond pair, lone pair of given molecule like this. And you should remember, all can be done just by one trick. Let's go to the topic. So, the procedure we have to follow here. The examples will be given as per the formulas like this. It may be a neutral or it may be ionic, positive or negative. So molecules will be provided like this. In this is the central atom and these are the surrounding atoms with n number of atoms you may be there. Right. For each of these, first we have to find out this total valence electron of the given molecule. And for calculating the total valence electron, you have to take the formula provided. If it is MXN type, you have one number of M atom is there and N number of X atoms are there. So 1 into valence electron of metal, you have to put metal or any central atom, and N number of valence electron of the atom X we have to put, and we have to add this total valence electron. This is valence electron of M and this is the valence electron of X atom. Then you have to count the total valence electron. This is the way we are counting. If any positive charge is there, any positive cations are there, positive, right, we have to minus one electron from this total. If it is any negatives are there, negative ions are there, we have to add one electron. Negative means one electron extra, so that we have to add up, we have to put 1 plus. If it is a positive charge is there, that is one electron deficient, we have to minus it. So after doing this, we are getting that total valence electron. If the total valence electron is greater than or 8, then we have to divide this by 8. If it is less than or equal to 8, then we have to divide it by 2. While you are dividing this total valence electron by 8, you will get some quotient. Sometimes you also get the remainder. If you are not getting the remainder, no problem. If you are getting the remainder, you can consider this quotient as the first quotient and the remainder as the first remainder. Then you have to divide this remainder by 2. Then you will get some value for this term. This term you will get some value. I can consider this as the quotient 2. So this is the way you have to do. So whenever you are getting the remainder, you have to do it again and again until you are getting the 0 remainder. So now I have the quotient 1 and quotient 2. This is the way I have to add this quotient 1, quotient 2. Whenever you have some more remainder here, again you have to divide that by 2. Like that you have to proceed. Right. So you have to add all that quotient value so that you will get the total quotient value that is equal to some number. Right. So when this total quotient value is equal to 2, then you can get the hybridization as S and P. You can add the powers of this S and P, that is equal to this total quotient value. If this is equal to 3, you can take it as this way, SP2. You can find the total powers of this equal to 3. And if it is equal to 4, that is total quotient value is equal to 4. This is total quotient value, that is equal to 4. You can put it as SP3. And if it is 5, then SP3D. You have to go for D because only p orbital having the 3 suborbitals. And if it is 6, you can put it as SP3D2. So this is the hybridization of the molecules we are obtained based on their quotient values. Now you can see this chart and their standard geometry. Once you found this hybridization, you can see the geometry of these hybridized molecules. So this is very standard geometry. And linear means, you can put this way, there is a central molecule and the surrounding atom must be 2. I can write this way, M and X2. This is the molecule. I may consider for this type MX2, right? And for planar triangular sp2 molecules, you can have this central atom and the triangular shape, you can put it as this. You can fix the point like this as a triangle, then you may join. Right now this is the bond pairs. You can join these bond pairs and in the side you can put some dotted line. to draw the geometry. And tetrahedron means, one more time, you can have the central metal and you can put the places of the tetrahedral shape. So this is the way I can put, and I can join this. This is the bond pairs. So this is the tetrahedron. Then you may put the dotted lines to join this. So this is the tetrahedral. And trigonal bipyramid, one more time I can write this way, that is central metal or central atom. And for a trigonal pyramid, you first you put these trigonal places, then pyramidal places like top one and bottom one. Now you can put the bond pairs like this. These are the bonds. This is the way I can put, and I can join this with the dotted lines. And if you are joining these also, you will get a pyramid, and bottom also you have to join. So this is trigonal pyramidal shape. And for octahedron, you can take this central atom and you can put the 4 points in the planar, and one is bottom and other one is top. So I can put the bonds now. So this is the octahedral geometry. You can join with this dotted line. So this is the octahedral geometry. So these are all the standard geometries. Based on that, we can predict the structure. Let's see the example. Here we have one phosphorus atom and 5 chlorine atom. So therefore 1 into 5 is the valence electron, and here 5 into 7 is the valence electron. So therefore this is equal to 5 and this is equal to 35. So therefore the result will be 40. So this is total valence electron. Since total valence electron is 40, we are dividing this by 8. The result will be 5. So once we got this 5, the hybridization must be sp3d, isn't it? And for SF4, as usual, we have one number of sulfur atom and 4 number of fluorine atom. So therefore this is equal to 1 into 6, and here 4 into 7. So therefore this is equal to 6 and this is equal to 28. Therefore this is equal to 34. That is the total valence electron. So since the total valence electron is greater than or equal to 8, we are dividing this 34 by 8. So once we are dividing this by 8, we will get 8 4s are 32, and the remainder will be 2. So whenever you got some remainder, you can consider the first quotient, and this is the first remainder. So whenever you get the remainder, you have to check it whether it is less than or 8 or more than or 8. So since it is less than or equal to 8, I am dividing this by 2, and the result will be equal to 1. So I can consider now this is the quotient 2. Now to find this total quotient value, I can add this quotient 1 plus quotient 2. So therefore the result will be 4 plus 1 equal to 5. Again I am getting the 5. For IF3, I can consider the same way. I have 1 number of iodine and 3 number of fluorine. So here 1 into 7, and here also 3 into 7. So therefore the result will be 7, here 21. So the result will be 28, that is total valence electron equal to 28. It is more than or equal to 8, so that I am dividing it by 8. So the result will be 3s are 24 plus 4. So I can consider now this is the quotient 1 and remainder 1. As I said, whenever you have some remainder, you can consider the first quotient and first remainder. Then the remainder, you have to check it whether it is less than or equal to 8 or greater than or 8. So since it is less than or 8, I am dividing this by 2, and the result of this remainder will be 2. So I can consider this is the quotient 2. Now the total quotient value equal to quotient 1 plus quotient 2, so that the result will be 3 plus 2 equal to 5. One more time, this is also 5. And for xenon difluoride, I have 1 number of xenon atom and 2 number of fluorine atom. So therefore 1 into 8 is the valence electron and 2 into 7 is the valence electron. So this is equal to 8 and this is equal to 14. Again this result will be 22. Since it is greater than or equal to 8, I am dividing this 22 by 8. So 8 2s are 16 and the remainder will be 6. So I can consider now this is the quotient 1 and this is the remainder 1. I have to divide this remainder by 2 since it is less than or equal to 8. So that will be 3. So I can consider now this is equal to quotient 2. Now the total quotient value is equal to quotient 1 plus quotient 2. So therefore 2 plus 3 equal to 5. So one more time, this is equal to 5. In all these examples, we are getting the total quotient value as 5. You can check it, 5 and 5 and 5 and 5. All those cases, the hybridization must be sp3d. So whenever we get the sp3d, the standard geometry is trigonal bipyramidal. To draw this structure, we can have different format. And in order to predict the structure, we have to put the center atom in a PCl5 as P, and we have to fix the points of the trigonal bipyramidal standard geometry. So I can fix this way. This is the standard places of the trigonal bipyramidal shape, and here whenever this total quotient value and number of surrounding atoms are equal, all of these places are the bond pairs, so that you can draw the bonds to the points. That's it. Now you can fix the atoms. Since we have chlorine atoms, 5 chlorine atoms, I can fix the point like this, and I can draw a structure like this. So the structure will be the same like as that of the trigonal bipyramid. For PCl5, both structure and the geometry is same only. Right? Now we come to the SF4. We have the central atom as sulfur, and I can fix as usual, since it is also sp3d. I can fix the 5 places as this trigonal bipyramidal shape. But if I check here, the total quotient value is 5, but the number of surrounding atom is only 4. So one of the bond pair is missing. I can make it as the lone pair. And whenever we put a lone pair in this trigonal bipyramidal shape, it should be in the equatorial position. So this is the equatorial position. So I can make this as a lone pair, and the remaining I can make it as a bond pair, isn't it? Now I can fill with the fluorine atom. So whenever we want to say the structure, we should not consider this lone pair. Remaining bond pair only we are considering for the structure. If we consider this, the structure will be seesaw. So this is the structure, but the geometry is trigonal bipyramidal only. In the IF3 cases, again we can put this I is the central atom. Again I can fix the 5 places of the trigonal bipyramidal standard geometry. In this we have only 3 surrounding atoms, but we have total quotient value as 5. So when you compare this, 2 is missing in this structure. So that 2 must be a lone pair. That 2 must be a lone pair. So as I said, the lone pair must be in the equatorial position whenever the geometry is trigonal bipyramidal. So I can fix these two as the lone pairs, and remaining I can make it as the bond pair, so that I can put a bond. I can place the fluorine atom in that place. So this is the structure. So whenever we want to say the structure, we have to omit this lone pair, as I said. If we omit this, it is look like a T shape, right? It look like a T shape, right? So the structure is T shape. And for this, again I can put the xenon as central atom. We can fix the 5 places, and here you can compare the number of surrounding atoms is only 2, but we need 5. So the missing is 3. That 3 must be a lone pair. All the lone pair must be in a equatorial. Don't forget, here the lone pair must be in the equatorial position only in the case of trigonal bipyramidal geometry, right? And remaining 2 places as the bond pair. So I can fix the fluorine atom. So if you want to say the structure, you can omit these lone pairs, and remaining thing, if you see, it's equal to linear. So this is the way you have to predict the geometry and structure. Methane, as usual, we can put, we have 1 number of carbon atom and 4 number of hydrogen atom. So 1 into for carbon, the valence electron is 4, and for hydrogen it is 1. So, and this is equal to 4, and this is also equal to 4. The total valence electron equal to 8. So whenever we get 8 total valence electron, we have to divide it by 2. So the result will be 4. Whenever we get the 4, the hybridization is sp3, right? sp3 means it is a tetrahedral. tetrahedral geometry. So we can fix the structure now. We can put the geometry as this. So we can fix all the hydrogens. So it's the standard geometry tetrahedron, and structure also same tetrahedron, because the number of surrounding atoms are equal to the total quotient value. So we had the tetrahedral geometry. Here the geometry and structure both are same. Next is ammonia. We have one number of nitrogen atom and 3 number of hydrogen atom. So 1 into the valency of nitrogen is 5, and 3 into valency of hydrogen is 1. So therefore this is equal to 5 and this is equal to 3. So overall we are getting the 8. So whenever we get the total valence electron as 8, we have to divide it by 2. So therefore the result is 4. So whenever we get the total quotient value is 4, the hybridization is sp3. So sp3 means, one more time, it is tetrahedral. And here we can draw the structure now. This is the central atom and we have only 3 surrounding atoms. So one place must be a lone pair. Whenever the total quotient value is not equal to the number of surrounding atoms, the missing places we can put as the lone pair. That's it. So now this is the structure. So while we are drawing the structure, you have to you don't consider this lone pair, and remaining thing we have to consider. If we consider remaining thing by omitting this lone pair, it will be a trigonal pyramid. You can see that it's a trigonal or triangular pyramid. So we can write the structure as triangular pyramid. So this is the structure of the ammonia. And next is water. Here we have 2 number of hydrogen and 1 number of oxygen. So 2 into 1 is equal, this is equal to 1 into, for oxygen, valence electron. This is equal to 2 and this is equal to 6. So overall again we are getting the total valence electron as 8. So one more time we are divided by 2. So the result will be 4. So whenever we get the 4 as total quotient value, again the hybridization is sp3 and the geometry must be a tetrahedron, right? And the structure we can draw as this. Oxygen is the central atom and here the total quotient value and the number of surrounding atoms are not equal. We have only 2 hydrogens, so 2 places we can fix with the hydrogen. Remaining 2 places of these 4 we can fix it as the lone pair. So the total quotient value is nothing but the number of bonding site we have to put. Here we have only 2 hydrogens, so that 2 hydrogen we make it as a bond pair and remaining thing as the lone pair. So this is the geometry of this, right? So this is the tetrahedral geometry. If you want to write the structure, you have to omit this lone pair. Remaining thing, if you see, it's like a V shape or bend. So we can write this as V shape, or sometimes we can say it's a bent. So this is the structure of water molecule. I hope you enjoyed with this video. If you like the content, please share it to your friends and subscribe to my channel. Also mention your views in the comment box. Thank you.